Hey guys, just wanted to make a video with no frills really. I'm not used to making videos, so this is something that I just haven't seen talked a lot about as far as guides go. So something I want to get into because I believe it's probably the most important aspect of the game if you are looking to get wins. Um, there's a lot of micro things and basic aim and FPS/gaming skill that you can do that will obviously help you contribute or to getting wins. That's something that honestly you just pick up over time. I've played years of FPS gaming, so something that I kind of had when I got into this. Took a little bit to get used to the mechanics and everything, but that's something you'll gain inherently just the more you play the game. Strategy, on the other hand, it can vary, and not everybody that plays PUBG is trying to win every game. A lot of times they like dropping hot, dropping your pachinkis, your uh, picados, schools, stuff like that. It's a playstyle that I think has its uses and can be fun, but if you're trying to win games, it's not necessarily the best thing to do. So what I'm going to be going into here in this video is just general rotations, um, tips and tricks, and things that you should be thinking about when you rotate, when you position yourself, kind of going from early game and starting with drop selection all the way to um, where you should be rotating depending on where the blue circle is, and where the next the next zone is going to be where the white circle is showing you. Generally, at the start of right when the blue finishes closing in, and you see where you need to go next. I'm a fan of rotating early. We'll get into that in a little bit. A little bit about me is, I'm not the best overall aimer, or I'm not a shroud or something like that. I'm generally in squads, a top 1,000. I'd say the past couple seasons, top 500 player at the end of the season. Usually my KD is about 2.5 and ADR is above 250. Um, I'd say that's probably been my stats for uh, you know preseason one, um, maybe preseason two. I can't remember. Um, so I guess let's just kind of jump into it here. I'm going to start with where you should drop depending on the plane and why you should do so. So a little example, I'm going to draw in a flight path. This is a common one that we'll see come from this kind of like this. Um, and this is a particularly tough one in my opinion. um, and so it's one where you don't have a lot of options because this is pretty much out of play. You can go Primorsk, it's going to be hot. Obviously, Millie Nova going to be hot. Pachinki's going to be hot. So it leaves you with some other things. Milto's probably going to be pretty hot too. And this is again specifically for squads. And solos, you can scavenge some loot up in Gatka, things like that. I personally tend to avoid car strats because I think unless you're playing with a squad that is um, used to playing with each other, that it can get disorganized really quick. I've had just countless numbers of shenanigans happening. However, sometimes it is the best strat. So on a plane flight like this, Georgia Pool is a place, for instance, that is going to be in play. But if you're probably gonna have to drop a card drop somewhere around this area, here, something like that, even over here. I don't, I'm not, again, I don't do this a lot, so I'm not super big on the car spawns and know where they are. Couple of options here, and this would tend to be where I would drop, and I'll kind of explain why. I like going Rorschach on this plane. It's actually you can stretch it. If you look, it's sometimes this will be even a little bit lower, but if you pull instantly and stay around that 30, 35 kilometers an hour drop rate, you can get Rorschach. Lepovka's in play, and I think personally a underrated place. Um, if I was going to car strat at all, I would tend to go Yasnaya because it's a little bit further away from the flight path. And that's really the goal of what you're trying to do if you are trying to win a game. If you're your goal is to win. Is you're trying to get away from this flight path where you know the highest concentration of players will be, um, and you're trying to get as far away as possible from that. So for the sake of it, let's say that you drop Rorschach, and you get through Rorschach there, and you know you maybe you get a good circle. So I will put a circle on the map, and let's say you know this is the oops. I'll do that. I want the square here. Is that right? Yeah. Let's say the circle's you know actually let's do it more like this. Probably going to be the best circle you can get in this game. Something along that size. You know, I'm not perfect on the size here. And let's say the white is something like this. Okay, so things to think about if you're dropping Rorschach here. Where are obviously you're going to loot up, do all you need to do, and then the thing here is you're still in. So question becomes, how long do you take in Rorschach? When do you rotate out? As soon as your squad has, you know, a primary and a secondary, you want to have, you know, everybody needs an AR. ARs are needed to win this game. My recommendation is get further away from the flight path here. Where can you go? A couple of options. You can go into Yasnaya. I don't like it. Big city. You know, people are going to be going there later. You play outskirts of Severny. I don't think that is a necessarily bad idea, but problem with that is you are going to be on the outskirts of the circle, and you will need to move, you know, relatively far, or you most likely will need to be moving relatively far. A couple other problems that you know come in that are with going Severny is that this area right here where this little green line is, if you're rotating, if you have a circle over here where like you know on the right side of the map, getting through where this green line is can be a little tricky, because it's pretty open, and uh, it's just tough to get through if you don't have a vehicle. If you do have a vehicle, there's a couple places where you know it can get kind of hot in general, or if you run up on a squad, open sight lines, good chance somebody's going to get shot out, you can die. So that's why I would avoid, you know, I personally would avoid Severny. Uh, my goal and my thought here is if you look at what looks nice to rotate to, I'm going here, this spot right here. Why? You can rotate everywhere on the map from there. It's just it's pretty much dead center of the circle. If you need to rotate down to Yas, you can play really good cover over here. As you know, if you need to go up into Stalber, good things happen there. If the next circle, you know, ends up down here, there's a little bit of problems, but you know that the worst case scenario, you know, this is going to be your worst case scenario, future circle, something like this. I want this. And obviously you rotated from there, but it can be kind of tough to get into an area like this. This isn't too good, but um, at least you have safe rotations getting into there from again this spot that you know you went to after Raz. You can follow the hill down here, and you can loop wide around north. Um, that would probably be my play. Is I would end up going, if you have a circle like this, my play would be pretty much an instant rotate and you know follow a line somewhere like this, avoiding Yas, getting in, you know, trying to get somewhere with cover. Good hill cover over here. At this point of the game, it's late enough to where you can edge play, and you can get in. I know that this is going to seem like obvious strategies to some of you, but there are some people that really just don't think about these things and that you know are fighting the blue all game. And these are the types of this guide is for those types of people. They need to be thinking about what they're going to be doing next, how they're getting to any place on the map, regardless of where the circle is. If you're in this little town here and you have and you don't have to play the town. You could, another viable strategy is if you're all looted up, you can play these Stalber Hills. Those are great places, lots of cover. Might get into a gunfight, but you're going to be in a spot where you're not at a disadvantage. And that's really what you're trying to do with rotations is you're trying to remove any disadvantage. You're trying to remove, oh, hey, I have to push across into Yasnaya through this field. This would be a horrible spot to be. And if people are on the edge of Yasnaya here, you're dead if you're rotating into them. So, yeah, obviously, if the next circle from this town ends up here or up here, you're in great shape. Could even end up on you. Could get lucky and things could be fine. So, those are kind of just the things that you want to be thinking about when you're playing the game. Late game circle rotations are important, but harder for me to really get into over a video like this, a very macro video, because I don't have the cover to show you. I do have some good map, pretty decent map knowledge, so I'll try to get into it a little bit here. But let's say this is the end game circle. This is another thing that you're going to want to be thinking about on where are you going to go. And I'm going to give you a second here to think in your head. If that's let's call it the death circle, the circle that really starts chunking you. You can't really tank the blue there. I think it's probably like the fourth circle. I don't remember exactly, but where in this circle do you want to go and why? And for me, it's an easy answer. For me, I am either over here or over here. And why is that again? Again, furthest away from the plane. So you know that everybody from this circle is going to be rotating in, or not everybody, but the most amount of people are going to be rotating in like this. Places like this. And if you're up here, you're far away from them. Even down here is fine. Why else is that good? Nobody's coming in from Kameshki. This is nobody's who goes to Kameshki. This is unlikely. Could be guys who maybe while you went this town could be guys coming in from Severny. That's possible. So that's why I like kind of this back area, so that really the goal here is to not get pinched at this point of the game. You don't want to end up between two squads to where you are, you may have limited cover and you are going to have a tough time. Now, obviously, there's buildings and lots of cover up in the actual town of Stolberg. Problems with that is a lot of times I find that people like simply camping buildings, and it's good, very powerful late game. But again, we're maximizing our ability to win every single game here. That's kind of the goal. And if you are in Stolberg, let's say a squad plays like my mindset and is up here, you can be fighting guys at every angle. Guys can be coming in like this from these two circles here. They can be coming in from up here. You're just dead center. I'm not saying dead center is bad. And for the most part, let's say you did play Stolber, you would be worried about guys coming in from the bottom, as we discussed, because that's most likely where people will be coming from up based on the flight plan or flight path. But just not what I would be looking to do. This entire Stolber area has good cover. This is horrible right here. You want to avoid this area. That's death. So it could be fun to be on Stolber up there. If you can find a good line into this huge path down here, you can definitely get some kills on guys coming in. But is that really what you want to be doing to win the game? Not in my opinion. The other good thing is if you're up here, next circle, let's say it is a circle that really screws you. It's down here, something like this. Look at all of your rotations to get in from this part are fine. You can come down this way like this. You can swing wide. You're fine. You can. This is tough. Coming directly in, it can be a little tough based on what I know of the map. once you get to this spot, it's gonna be a little tough, and you're again fighting anyone. So let's talk about hugging blue endgame, which is um, what the value is to it. So hugging blue endgame, you're not playing like a pussy. What you're doing is you're making sure that you're kind of corralling everybody in. If you start here at Stalber and you clear the blue, the blue zone in, you know that you're reducing the chances of people being behind you. What does that mean? You don't have to worry about getting pinched. You don't have to worry about as much about people coming in from a flank unless they do some crazy, swooping rotation that's even more drastic than the one that you're doing. So you're just eliminating the amount of places where you need to be looking, and where you need to be potentially engaging people from. And that's why I would probably have some sort of rotation like this one. That wouldn't be my choice. This is just a little too far. And again, based on what we know here, people don't like crossing these bridges. I doubt there's going to be many people Severny with this circle that I type of circle that I mapped out earlier. So yeah, it just seems overall safer for me to come down this way. I know the cover is good in this area. That would be my personal rotation. From there, once you get to this point of the game, you just have to be mindful. You're going to be hearing shots going off like crazy because it's really pinching everybody in. Be mindful of how many are alive. Think about how many squads that can be. If your full squad of 4 is up and there's 8 people alive, it's going to be something where hey, there's likely we're only fighting one squad or maybe one squad and a solo guy, or it could be two. But those are the things you should be thinking about. And when you start hearing those shots, if you're over here and you hear the shots over here, you really have to think about what you need to be doing as far as where the circle is. If it's something where you are, the last circle is right around you, okay, fine. You just camp them out. Wait, because they need to push you. Possibly get some good sight lines where they're going to have to be running through if there's an open area over there. Um, and that's just how you maximize your chance to win games. Hopefully this helped. This isn't something where I really wrote anything down. I was just kind of free balling it here, talking off the top of my head. But I really find that people just don't understand the importance in avoiding fights, because let's be honest, the less fights you get in, the less chance you have to die. And that is really the most important thing that you need to be doing to get chicken dinners. So hope you guys all liked it. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. I'm going to be posting this on Reddit. I'll probably be checking the Reddit comments more than anything. So leave a question there or comment. Tell me if you liked it. Thanks.